If you think you have low testosterone, you might want to listen to this video. So about a year and a half ago, I started my health journey. And along the way, while I was getting ripped, I got really fascinated with testosterone. And I just wanted it as high as possible. And I thought mine was very high. Because, I was about 19, 20 years old at the time. And I was like, okay, well, I'm young enough. It's just naturally high right now. And so, every day I was eating, real lean cuts of meat, just trying to get my protein in and working out as hard and as much as possible, so I could gain muscle. And then one day I got really curious and I was like, okay, I'm going to get a blood test and see what my testosterone is. I'm sure it's through the roof. I'm 19, 20 years old. There's no way it's low. So I go to the doctor's office, get my blood drawn, all of that. A couple weeks later, blood test comes back. And I'm excited to look at it because, um, really interested in my testosterone. And I look at and it's a 326 nanograms per deciliter. And if you don't understand how low that is, for my age, it should be minimum 600, preferably in the 8 to 900s, if not thousands. So I realized right then and there, I need to switch something up. So I just changed everything. I started working out less. Instead of 5, 6 days a week, hour and a half, 2 hours. I dropped it to 3 to 4 days a week, 45 minutes to an hour max. So I'm not overstressing my body and wrecking my hormones. Another main thing I did is I started eating more red meat. So steak, ground beef is a staple. Venison, bison, all that. I started eating red meat for at least 2 meals a day, and then sometimes I would eat chicken. Sometimes I would eat chicken for a couple days. But red meat and healthy fats. So beef tallow, the fat on the steak, on the in the ground beef. And also I cut out all seed oils. No soy, no sunflower, lecithin, no peanut butter. I used to eat peanut butter all the time, That's the protein hack. I no longer eat peanut butter, and I also quit eating bread. I used to eat that Dave's Killer Bread all the time, and I'd make chicken sandwiches with it. But no longer. I started reading ingredient labels very thoroughly, and it had to have minimal ingredients and no preservatives or artificial anything or anything like that. Got very tight about that. And another big thing I did is I started getting more sun, and I got a lot more tanner than I was. So I started dedicating 30 minutes to an hour of getting sunlight and walking around barefoot around the yard per day. Another really big thing I did is I cut out all unnecessary drinks. Like I used to love drinking sweet tea. Lots of processed sugar in that. Now I cut it down to literally water, spring water, no tap water, spring water, whole milk, preferably raw milk if you can find it. Fruit juices that are just the juice, no other additives, and then coffee some days. Another really big thing I did is I started prioritizing my sleep more. Before, I would go to sleep whenever I felt like it, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2 a.m., and wake up whenever I wake up. But that's not good for sleep. That's not good for you at all. It's not good for your hormones. So what I started doing is developing a sleep routine to where I go to bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning. So for me, I go to sleep at 10:30, 11 p.m. and I wake up at 7:30 p.m. And I always get a minimum of 7 hours of sleep every night, preferably 8 or 9. And I didn't do all these things all at once. I just did it one by one. The more I learned about how to increase testosterone, and doing all these things now resulted in me tripling my testosterone in a little over 1 year. I went from 326 to 934. And if you want to learn how to do it just like I did, I made a free testosterone community. Comment the word test below, and I'll send you the link to join, all for free.